Welcome to another Empires and Puzzles Books video. This is an update on my XP farming video. I had previously put out an extensive video detailing the benefits of XP farming and where to do it, and I've had numerous requests to update that now that Season 3 is completed, so here we are. This is the updated XP farming video for Season 3. Enjoy.
Today I want to talk about farming, specifically farming for XP. So what is farming? Farming is basically when we're replaying levels to try to gain some kind of material or resource. You'll see a lot of players asking where's the best place to farm for backpacks or recruits, that kind of thing. I have never cared about any of that. All I've ever focused on was farming for XP, which is the experience for the player leveling. My experience has been that farming for XP allows us to get all of those other items that we need. So when I'm not engaged in a current challenge event or a raid or a war, titans or quests, I'm concentrating on farming for XP. So why do I concentrate on XP? Well, of the 3 flasks in the game, the raid flask, the world energy flask, and the titan flask, only the world energy flask is the one that we can increase the value of it by playing. No matter what we do in the game, a titan flask will always have 3 flags. A raid energy flask will always have 6. But the world energy flask, as we level up our player level, will keep gaining more and more value to it. And that to me is the reason to keep farming for XP. Literally every time you upgrade a level or 2 and you gain world energy flags, you've increased the value of that flask. And that to me is important. In fact, it's the only thing in the game that we can increase the value of through play. So to give you an idea where I'm at and what has farming XP gotten me.
I am currently at player level 140, and I've been playing for 2 years and 2 months, which comes out to an average leveling of about 5 1/3 levels every month. My pace used to be a lot faster, but now that I'm so high, I used to level about every 5 days. Now it's taking me 7 to 9 days to level, just because there's so much XP required above 130. It gets pretty intense. But as you see here, I now have 88 world energy flags. Now compare that to a brand new player who only gets 15 world energy flags. That's almost a 600% increase in value. So if they went into the shop and bought a world energy flask, or they won a world energy flask, it would have a value of 15 flags. Mine is 88 flags, and that is what I've been going after. That is what initially got me on the road to XP farming, was just increasing that value of that flask. To put this in perspective, a lot of players like to farm Season 1, Province 8, Stage 7, which requires 3 flags. So a brand new player who has 15 flags can play that 5 times. They can farm that level. 5 times they're done, they're out of flags, they got to wait for more flags. With my current 88 flags, I'll be able to play that at least 30 times. So imagine 1 world energy flask and being able to do 30 rounds of farming. Imagine how much extra food, iron, and all of that other stuff combined adds to the value of my world energy flask, which I've earned through all of that XP farming. And my experience has been that doing XP farming on this level, you just end up accruing enough of everything else. Now, granted, I do a monster amount of farming, but everything I need comes with that. So for example, players are constantly looking for backpacks. Literally right now, I have 135,000 backpacks. I will never need backpacks again. And you can see the swords and everything else. All that farming has earned me resources infinitum. I mean, I will never need another resource for the most part, other than the unfarmable items like 4-star ascension materials. So how do I go about doing this? Farming for XP. Well, there are 3 distinct ways to look at farming for XP. There is maximizing how much XP we can get for an individual loot ticket. There is the maximizing the amount of XP we can get per world energy flag. And then what I mostly concentrate on now is maximizing the amount of XP I can get per time. I'm interested in speed XP farming, and that is mostly what I'm doing now, and I'll get into that in more detail in a bit. But for now, let's talk about XP farming via loot tickets.
So let's start with the loot tickets since they're the easiest. So if you're not familiar with the loot tickets, you might have a pile of loot tickets, you might not be using them. You really want to use those loot tickets. Basically, a loot ticket will allow you to instantly win any level that you've already played before. So I recommend using those for the largest amount of XP you can get in one shot. At the time that I learned, I was around player level 30, 31 when I realized the power of a loot ticket. And I decided to blow all of my loot tickets in one shot right when I hit player level 32. I wanted to see how fast I could level up. So using all those loot tickets in one shot, I used them at that time on season 1, province 2710, the last level of season 1. And using all the loot tickets I had at that point, I was able to level up from level 32 to level 33 in 46 minutes. So can you imagine how many recruits, feeder heroes, and other loot I picked up in that 46 minutes? In fact, it would have been faster if I would have let the food, iron, and recruits and feeders overflow, but it slowed me down having to stop every few turns to go feed the troops and put the iron and food somewhere to be useful so I can keep collecting. So that's the power of loot tickets. You want to use them, you can level up very quickly.
Question is, where and when is it most profitable to use the loot tickets? With the completion of Season 3, if you finish Season 3, Province 36, Stage 10 on hard, you will get 4,995 XP per ticket. That is a significant increase over using the loot tickets at the end of Atlantis, which were giving 4650. So you're getting almost 350 more XP, not quite 10% more, but it's a significant amount more to use it at the end of Season 3, Province 36, Stage 10 hard. You'll get almost 5,000 XP per ticket. Now that is pricey because you're going to be using 16 flags every time you do that. So keep that in mind. The other question then is when and how to use the loot tickets. It might be tempting and it might be logical for you to use them during Valhalla Forever, since the flag cost is lower. So you can get away with it for 13 flags instead of 16. So it's efficient for flags. However, Valhalla Forever, unlike Atlantis Rises, does not offer the 50% more loot as far as 50% more food and iron. So you're not getting as much loot and iron compared to farming the rest of the month in Season 3. Now, let's be real, Season 3 is already giving a ton more food and iron than Atlantis, so it is still good to use the loot tickets on the last level of Season 3. You're still going to get a ton of food and iron for your loot ticket, but there is a way to maximize it, and this is my strategy now with loot tickets. I will be saving my loot tickets to use in Season 3 outside of Valhalla Forever when I have one of the harvesters running, the iron harvester, the food harvester, or the omni harvester. That way I'm getting that 50% increase on a huge number already of food on iron, and then I'm getting that XP as well. That is not an efficient use of the tickets as far as flags go, but I'm not worried about flags. I'm worried about maximizing my loot ticket. So the most stuff that we can get being XP, food, and iron is using it with one of the harvesters on Season 3 outside of Valhalla Forever. During Valhalla Forever, we save some flags, but we're not allowed to use the harvester and we're not getting the increased food and iron. So that is how I'm managing my loot tickets now. You have to decide for yourself what's best for you. If you've not finished Season 3, then the last levels of Atlantis Rises, the last levels of Atlantis during Atlantis Rises still might be the best choice for you to use your loot tickets. You got to decide how far you are in the game and which makes sense for your efficiency of flag use versus maximizing what you get for a loot ticket. But all things being equal, if you have the ability to do it, loot tickets on the last stage hard of Season 3 with one of the harvesters running is the ideal way to use them, in my opinion.
The thing that really matters for most of the month is the XP per flag. So when you're not playing any of the quests or doing any of the other challenges or things like that, you just have flags to burn, you're going to want to use those wherever you can get the maximum XP for flag. So the highest place that you can get XP per your flags is the monthly challenge event on the rare level 3. It's a monster level for XP per flag. You actually get 975 XP for one flag. It's huge. Most other high levels, if you're lucky, are in the 600s. Throughout most of the month, they're in the 3 to 400 range. So getting almost 1,000 for one flag is huge. Uh, Although that is a killer place to get XP per flag and probably the best deal in the game for that, I've actually stopped farming that. I don't farm the rare level 3 anymore during the challenge event. And I'm not doing that for two reasons. One, it offers absolutely no food or iron. So you're still gaining a lot of feeder heroes and recruits and things as you're playing that level over and over, but you'll end up food poor because you'll end up with all these feeders, and assuming you want to keep up with your feeders and feed those into your heroes that you're leveling, you're going to be running out of food. Plus, I just need food in general for everything. So to spend that kind of time farming a level that's giving me no food, that has no value to me, even with that incredible amount of XP. The second reason I don't farm that anymore is it's too slow. It's 975 per flag, but you can only play one flag at a time, and it just takes way too long. I can earn XP at a faster rate on other levels, and I'll get into that in the third part of this video when I'm talking about XP per time. So I just am not playing Rare 3 anymore. I used to auto farm it that entire weekend, and I realized I'm just getting a lot more XP throughout the weekend farming elsewhere, and I'm getting a ton more food and iron. So I'm not wasting my time on Rare 3, even though it is a huge amount of XP per flag.
The next best place to get XP per flag is during Valhalla Forever Season 3, Province 10, Stage 10 on normal. With the discounted flags, we're going to now get 790 XP per flag, which is a massive amount. Now, with any of these levels that I'm recommending for Season 3, please keep in mind that Season 3 has those frustrating runic stones that can inhibit our ability to auto farm. So as you look at these stages that I'm talking about, ask yourself if you have a team that is able to auto farm this particular level. In fact, if you want to help out other viewers, please post in the comments what team you're using to auto farm these levels so that people have an idea what it might take to auto farm these. Because I find that it's tough sometimes to put a team together that can negotiate these levels without failure. With the runic stones, it can also slow us down, so we're not getting as much XP per time, which we'll get to later in this video. But for right now, assuming that you can auto farm it, or you're willing to sit there and keep playing it over and over, during Valhalla Forever, this particular stage, 3-10-10, is going to give you 790 XP per flag, which is a massive number. The next level, which is also profitable during this weekend, would be Season 3, Province 18, Stage 10 normal. That's requiring 4 flags, getting 2550 XP. So that's coming out to 637 XP per flag. And then from there, it drops down.
Atlantis is usually high cost levels as far as the number of flags to play, but during Atlantis Rises weekend, they drop that down three flags, which drastically increases the XP per flag, and then you get all that other loot. So the two levels you want to focus on during Atlantis Rises is Atlantis Providence. They're both in Providence 9, and it's Stage 9 and Stage 10. They will both give respectively 638 XP per flag and 640 XP per flag. So there's some debate about which one to play. I used to always play 9-9, giving up that 2 XP per flag in exchange for an extra round of monsters. With that extra round of monsters, that gives you more chances that the Atlantis or Chalcum Sea Dragon will appear and you can get those Atlantis coins. The reality, though, is Season 2, 9-10, although it's one round shorter, that means you can also play it quicker. So you actually gain more rounds just from the nature that it doesn't take you as long to play. So another player challenged me on that a few months ago, and I looked into the math and started doing some testing, and the reality is I can play 9-10 faster than I can play 9-9. By the way, these are both on normal. So if you're cheap to play or you don't want to be using a lot of facts or keep buying a lot of flasks during Atlantis weekend, you might want to do 9-9 normal. Since as an extra round, you'll still have those extra shots at getting the Sea Dragon, but you will accrue XP and other items much faster by playing 9-10 normal.
Since I made the last video, I have completely changed my strategy for farming during Atlantis weekend, which I will talk about in the third section of this video when we get talking about XP per time. Valhalla Forever and Atlantis Rises account for just a few days of every month. So the question is, where do you farm for most efficiency in getting XP per flag throughout the rest of the month when there isn't an event or another activity going on? I would still argue that the best place to do this is Season 1, Province 20, Stage 4, where you're getting just about 375 XP per flag. I recommend that because, relatively speaking, it's an easy stage to farm and autoplay. There are a number of places in Season 3 that you can get more XP per flag, but they'll be significantly harder to auto farm. So you get 375 exactly per flag for 31510 hard. Good luck auto farming that. You get 392, which jumps up pretty good on Season 3, Province 8, 10 hard. Again, it's a hard level. Even though it's only in the 8th province, it's still going to be difficult to auto farm that. The best bet is 3-10-10 normal. So Season 3, Province 10, Stage 10 normal. That's 6 flags, just like Season 1, 24, Stage 4. And you're getting 395. So the question is it worth the extra 20 XP to farm a more difficult level in Season 3? Now, it might, because you're probably going to get a lot more food and iron and other things. But the question again is, do you have a team that can auto farm 3-10-10 normal? If you can, that's probably your best bet throughout the month. Regular time of the month, with no flag discounts, the top dog for XP for flag is still the last level of Season 1, Province 2311. That last big boss there, which gives you 405 XP for flag for 7 flags. But, that's one of those big bosses that has an enormous amount of health, so it takes a while to kill them. So is it worth your time to do that for just a little bit more XP? So for me, I still find it most efficient if you're trying to get XP per flag to worry about Season 1, Province 20, Stage 4. As you do that, you might end up with change, like remainder flags that don't even out to 6. So if you have 5 flags, I would recommend Season 1, 17, 1. So Province 17, Stage 1. 4 flags would be 1, 13, 6. And 3 flags would be Season 1, Province 9, Stage 1. So I hope that helps you with where to put your flags to good use throughout the month if you're worried about flag efficiency. I am not worried about flag efficiency. I am worried about XP per time. So let's talk about that next.
So that is where I do my regular farming for XP per flag, or at least that's where I was doing it. With Season 3, my focus has changed slightly. I am realizing with Season 3, especially on the hard modes, that there is an enormous amount of food and iron you can get with a similar amount of XP. So since I've analyzed the hard levels of Season 3, I am gaining a lot more XP, food, and iron per round of play. So the place that I am mostly farming right now is Season 3, Providence 1, Stage 3 hard. I'm doing that level not because it's the best, but because it's the level that I can auto farm without getting into too much trouble. When I talk about getting into too much trouble, keep in mind that Season 3 Valhalla has those runic stones that can really ruin your game when you're auto farming. If you're not completely paying attention and the middle of the board gets clogged up with those runic stones, your heroes could start taking on some damage and you might start losing people. You might lose the auto farm. So for me, I can play Season 3 1-3 hard and pretty much auto farm that all day. Maybe once out of every 20, 30 games, I'll realize my heroes are in trouble and I might have to jump in to save the auto farm. But otherwise, I don't have to pay attention. I can kind of set it and forget it. I have a good team that auto farms that, and I just collect all of that XP and the ham and iron that come with that. So season 3, 1-3 hard is giving 368.5 XP per flag, which isn't bad. But what's really exciting to me is I'm getting nearly 1,000 food per flag and almost 1,600 iron per flag. The level costs 10 flags to play. That means for one round of play, I'm getting over 11,000 food and over 16,000 iron and racking up over 3,600 XP. But just on Season 3, 1-3 hard and one world energy flask now, I'm getting over 154,000 food per hour and over 224,000 iron per hour while accumulating over 51,000 XP per hour. So if you can imagine letting your auto farm go pretty much all day long and just let that thing run, that's an enormous amount of food and iron and XP. So since I switched to XP per time, my goal has been to auto farm about 15% of my player level every day, which allows me to increase a level about once a week.
With my change in focus to farming XP per time, it's changed my strategy for the Atlantis Rises event. So instead of looking for that XP per flag, I am looking for how quickly can I farm XP. And you might find this funny, but I've been now farming Season 2, Province 1, Stage 1. That's right, the very first province, very first stage on normal, and I just fly through that, and I'm able to get a lot of XP per minute. The downside is I'm resetting the game frequently, but my heroes are fast enough that they just obliterate that level. So just during all of Rises, I just keep hammering that one level over and over and over and over and over again.
But that's what I'm doing. I completely am a believer in XP farming. It's gotten me tens of thousands of all the other items, and some of that's from the excessive amount of farming I do. But if you see my other video on the alchemy lab, it's given me plenty of stock to keep the alchemy lab running with junk that I don't need. So that has been an ancillary benefit that I didn't realize would happen until the alchemy lab happened to come along to get rid of all those extra items. So what happens if I actually would need an item, or you're doing XP farming and you realize you need an item? At any point, you can just switch gears and go back to doing the regular farming that you enjoy, except that you've increased player levels, so you have a lot more world flags to do it. There really isn't a downside to XP farming, and having increased so many levels at the rate that I have, I can tell you I'm really grateful for all that hero cap and all of the extra world energy flags. Not to mention that every time you increase a level, you basically get a bonus of all those flasks, right? Because all your rate energy, your titan, and your world flasks all get refilled. So that's a whole extra round of play of all 3 flags that you get every time you level up. So that's just another advantage to leveling up quicker. Above player level 100, I'm not getting a regular summons token anymore. I'm getting an epic hero token, which is great, and I'm not getting 10 gems per level up anymore. I'm getting 50. So there is some incentive to get higher up in the levels, as the rewards are not fantastic, but they're definitely better at the lower levels. So for me, it's XP farming. I hope this made sense to you, and I hope you're able to start increasing your player level and getting more value out of your world energy flags. Got any questions or comments, please put them below. I try to respond to everything that's asked. Happy gaming. Good luck with your tiles.